started it, I know it, and I created it. We play very open, and it creates a lot of problem for a lot of people who see the openness.
Hello, Mr. Cash.
Yeah, just 1 second. I've just received the message. I have to respond. Just 1 second, please. Yes, carry on, please.
Yes, hello from Austria. This is René speaking. I started to produce gold GANs a week ago, and I tried some experiments with these rotating spheres, and I noticed that there are many particles in my gold GANs bottle, and this picture I want to show if this is okay.
Rick, is it okay with you? You're from Austria?
Yeah, from Austria, yes.
Yes, yeah. I read something I just received from Klaus. It says, Mr. Cash, setting up generator brought us together very close in Austria. Additionally, we found that we are 3 groups concentrating on 3 topics, which are agriculture, energy, and health. Altogether, we see flight and motion. We would work very close to be in one company, producing and researching on different locations. Would it be okay for you? Of course it is. You Austrians have a different approach and mentality, and it's a pleasure to work with you. Carry on. So you're happy with it, Rick?
Yeah, I believe so. We'll just have to stop your screen sharing.
My sharing. Am I the cause of the problem as usual?
No, not at all.
There we are.
Okay.
Okay, I start my screen sharing now.
Yes, please.
Select the window. Okay. This is my gold GANs bottle. It's only a tiny bottle.
You have to wait. Can you? Now we see it for the first time. Can you explain, please, what this is?
Yes.
It looks like an eye.
So I have a small bottle where I collect my my gold GANs, and
the gold.
No, gold. This is the GANs that I produced from gold.
Gold.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And when I make the picture a little bit bigger, and I notice that there are many particles lying on the bottom of the glass, and I don't know what it is. So it seems that it must be gold, but as I understand the process, I think the gold is not produced in the gold GANs, but in another place. So I have another picture from this glass, and here you can see the particles lying. There are many particles, and they are not so tiny, so you can see it with.
If you may, the GANs has got to be, because not all the particles stay at a GANs. Some of them you most probably use a huge amount of heat. So when you come to this position, even the fields which are near the matter state of the gold, they convert to gold. And part of the fields will create this condition and position. It's no problem. Yes, it is. You have made gold, but you started from it. And the fields in that respect can be. And when you make GANs, you separate molecules at the weakest point of the strength in the matter state, and you get flakes of it. And now you see those flakes which separated before the atomic separation comes. It's not the strength. If you test this, it's most probably from the gold which you started. But if you clean it out, wash it, that there is no residual at the bottom, and then you leave it in the cup and you start seeing this created, then this is the production of the field. This is a production of gold from the environment. It's a big difference. Wash your GANs totally, make sure there is no residual. Do not go to the bottom of the GANs.
Yes.
In a different bottle, wash it a few times that you have no possibility of any matter state, and then leave it. And then you see if you start collecting gold or gold particles. Then this is the true gold made out of the environment.
Oh, that sounds pretty good, I think.
Yeah, it is, because this is part of, we see this in nano production of the copper too. But wash this thoroughly. It's beautiful what you've done. Just wash it further.
Yes.
And wash it 2-3 times. Don't go to the bottom that you collect possibly some of the gold, which could be in the liquid or in the bottom of the jar. And then leave it. And then you see if you create gold. That gold is a conversion of the energy into matter. This is the dream of the scientists for centuries. Because now you work in a plasmatic condition. The gas, even being in the glass, being in the water, is absorbing energy from the environment. And if that energy from the environment, which is mainly cosmic rays, mainly, we absorb huge amount of cosmic ray across our body. If we create a right filter, we create the matter state. So you create a condition and then check. It'll be very interesting. Come back and show it to us next week. Or those of you who have created a bone or phosphor or platinum or silver or whatever, go through this process. Put your ganses, wash it thoroughly, get all the matter states out. Don't go to the bottom of the pot because you bring it back out again. Repeat this 2 or 3 times and then leave it. Leave the container. You're sure there is nothing when you start, and then see in a few days time, in a few weeks time, you start seeing matter state. And then if you use gold, you see gold. These are conversion of the energy to matter, and this has been the dream of the man. We've seen it in the dynamic system with Peter, and a lot of you others people are testing it now. And then it goes a step further. You have produced, but the first step, especially the first GANs residual, usually carries this amount of original matter. Some are created, but some mainly are from the original plate you used. It's beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing with us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you. Just wash it and come back next week, see how we see if there is an evolution in it. And to record it every time you wash it, that we see the process. And then leave it. And the best thing to do is to those gold residual you've collected at the bottom with the ganses you don't collect, put it in 2 or 3 bottles around this new GANs you washed. And you see you might collect gold outside the bottle, not inside the bottle too.
So a last question. I have a liquid plasma where I put some of the gold GANs water into it, and I have a position for this glass near a maggraph that I built, and I found also tiny gold particles in this glass. So the question is...
Let me, you see, people have to understand what you said. you used plasma water of the GANs of gold. You
Yes.
didn't use the GANs of gold,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, correct.
And then you put it near a maglev system.
Yes, correct.
And then you found some gold in the bottom of the jar.
Yes, that's correct.
So
So it
you've done the
looks
job.
like gold.
It is gold because you created a condition of that's the filter. Whatever comes in that strength converts back into the matter state because you have water and you have the jar. The jar is the boundary of the matter state, so in that state it becomes gold when it touches the energy of the matter. It reduces and it gives enough energy that becomes that matter in that state. So that is the pure gold you created out of the matter state of the plasma itself. Because when you use liquid GANs or the plasma, liquid plasma, you still have some particles, even you don't see it, in there. And that sets the scene for the totality. And then you see the conversion back into matter state. If you become master in it, I can show you a trick that you can collect a lot of gold. Can I share a screen? Let's see if we can bankrupt the central banks. I need this. This is your, make your tube this way. Let's say this is a meter tube with 20 centimeter tube, whatever. Make a gap in between. If you understand, this is the gap. And then fill these with different liquid gases. Then you tell me what you have collected in these gaps. You can put two different material on either side, and the element you collect here is a composite. It's like you want to make brass. You create the fields of them, the interaction on the matter state will give you composite materials. This is a field of composite materials. And then if you convert it, you get the matter you need. This is how you make composite structures in the universe. You don't furnace, you don't take alloys, you don't make alloys out of different amount of matter state. You bring different field strength of the origin. In the interaction, they give you the composite you need. And it's monoatomic composite, which is perfect. It's better than even making alloys. What you've done, you put the GaNs of gold in respect to a copper winding coil. So what you have is the field flow between the two. But you have to understand with this, because of its freedom and its presetting, here you most probably collect. Some of you will look at the bottom of your GaN strings, you see materials, but you disguise it because you don't see it. But here you have preset the gold level, so you'll be collecting gold. And then if you bring it closer or further, you will see the interaction and the speed of the production. And if you get it right, and like putting another system inside, you will find out that very fast you can produce kilos of gold. If you want it, you can mint it, as they say. And understanding the mint is making the coins of gold. Nobody will know. Two scientists in the past few hundred years, managed to understand this, made gold out of fresh air, and they disappeared. They reappeared in other places on this planet as very rich people, but they came and they brought their gold and they made when they needed. Rothschild is one of them. Rothschild family were given the secret of making gold, and in the process they lost it somewhere, and then they knew, and the rest of it is illusion of delusion, and they now become central banks. And for the first time I'll teach it to you, and you're testing it and you're seeing it producing. Make shops and sell gallons of water of the gallons of any product and let people go home. The government asks you for gold. Oh, I have a gallon of gold. You have a core running. How many kilos I have to give for my taxation this year to be a free man, to do what I like, to enjoy my soul. You give it to them. The biggest problem now is where we're going to stack all this gold people are making. If you understand the process the way you just explained and speed it up, you can make few kilos of gold every day. Put it this way, the earth doesn't respect the sun. Where do you think our gold comes? Just came before and finished? Every day our planet creates a mixture of elements and it deposits it, rains on us. We go to shower and we wash it. Beauty and the kindness of the Creator showers on man, but the man has not got the intelligence to understand it. Any other question?
Hello, good morning, Mr. Kesh. This is Paul from Togo.
Hi, Paul. Good morning. How are you?
I want to know if, fine. I want to know if you have received my PDF, my PowerPoints.
Nope. Who's got it? Rick, have
I
you
have sent it directly to you, and I sent
to me? I have not seen such a thing.
I sent also to Rick.
Paul, you sent me some pictures. Yes, I've got the pictures.
Could you show it, please? I haven't seen anything on my email from you, Paul.
Yeah, I sent also, Mr. Rick, I sent you the PowerPoint feed.
No, I haven't seen it.
Let me have a look here.
Hello, this is Lucy from China. I have two Chinese want to share something. One Chinese sent me the video of his system. I don't know where I can send to. Sorry, could you give me your email address so that I can send you?
Send it to webmaster at the Spaceship Institute or cashfoundation.org, and then we send it to Rick. All communication goes through webmaster. We don't give private emails. If you send it at webmaster at spaceshipinstitute.org or cashfoundation.org, you can very easily do that. Let me explain to a lot of you who don't know, and this is very important, especially if you are sending files of videos. Uploading these things takes a lot of time and a lot of bandwidth. Use a company called WeTransfer.com. WeTransfer.com allows you to send files below 2 gigabytes very rapidly. You just need the email address, and it's very easy for us to open to see. We don't need to download and wait. It's very fast, Within a matter of a minute, you can load up. Within a matter of minutes, we download it. And if it's not downloaded within 7 days, it disappears. So it doesn't take time on it. If you download it, then you can keep it. WeTransfer.com is one of the easiest way for you to transfer videos to us. Go on the internet, put WeTransfer.com, and you can use the facility. Just put WeTransfer.com and send it to webmaster@keshefoundation.org. We see it, we can immediately decide yes, no, and what we can do with it. And it doesn't take a lot of time to do it. If you can send it to the webmaster now, maybe we can look at it this morning, please. Are you still
Okay,
there?
Mr. Cash, I will send to the email. Okay, I will send right
Please,
now.
we immediately look at it. Vince, could you keep an eye on this to come up?
Yeah, the both of them have the question is that the light is light, but the compressor is not work. Yeah.
Yes, you have to see if the output at your generator is 110 or 220, if your system is a 220 system or 110. Everything has to be matching on the same order. If you are using a fish tank, you're producing 110 output and your pumps are 220, you will find out you don't have enough power to bring them into what do you call it, infinity loop, as we call it. This is the problem, and I explained that. That's why I said, if you live in the country, is in China 220 euro power or 110?
Yes, it's 220, and
So fish
they test
pumps.
the voltage is only 114. Yeah. So I
Yes.
think
So
that's the
your
problem.
pump is 110. You will never get your capacitor and compressor unit matching up. It's too weak. That's what I said. You have to change to 220. We put a note on this on the what do you call it? The blueprint. Those of you who live, the system we have put, it tells you really, it says 120 volt system. So all you need to do is to use a generator of 220, but not a signal generator or power generator. You have to use what I call a standard generator, kick in the plasma, and then it'll happen. There is a secret in this process, maybe I have to explain, but is Douglas awake? He can join us. You see Douglas in the background, or is still asleep? These compressors carry magnetic field wiring, and that's the secret to their work. You have the system, which is now nano-coated, creates its own magnetic field and holds its own. That's why this technology works so easily with these things. But you have the problem of the matter state to kick in. So 220 has to have a power supply of 220. With 110 fish tanks, it says specifically what it is. The blueprint is 110. You change anything you see 110. If you got a 220, you have to change everything to 220. The compressor is 220, the power generator 220. But as we said with the research center, innovation center, when you go above 140, 4 capacitors are too weak to carry the power. It's so much energy comes as an impulse. You need to increase the number of the capacitors to 8 to 12 without burning your capacitance. Is Renan in the background? Is he awake? Renan, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Renan, would you like to explain this, what you've seen in the Innovation Center with the spikes in the power with your capacitors?
Yes, especially for the 220 volt setup, the blueprint that is released, it's specifically with the same prototype of Douglas, which is working at a 110 volt. So for the 220 volt setup, we require more capacitors because there are surge of the current coming from the power. It's amplified, so it needs to hold more current. So we increase the capacitors to 8 or 12. So you can start with 8 capacitors. But if we can design the better capacitors, you have your own design to work with, you can use that as well. But for the design that Douglas has made, so we can utilize a 8 capacitors to 12 capacitors. And we need 12 for the 220 volt system. We need to know that you need to check the compressors line, because if you see in the diagram, we have the R and S. You need to check the S wire, or what we call the starting coil of a compressor, the voltage that's come out from it, just to check, because most of the compressors that we have here, even it's 220 volts, it comes out with 110 volts only, even it's 220. In the US, they have 110 volt compressors, which has an output of 110 volt as well. So that is why it can create a pump loop, infinity loop, with the refrigerator and ref, and can have extract more power in the environment using the MagRev system. So, but 220 volts systems, we need to do something with the compressors, or if you can find 110 compressors, much better to test with the 110 first, if you have access to that for this particular design.
Okay, Ronan, could you please produce a blueprint for 220 system, please, and post it?
Yes, Mr. Kesh. We are still verifying the number of capacitors and the flow of connection for that 220. We will put it up. Okay, as soon as we complete it.
Thank you very much. These are the developments as part of we have to separate the system between 110 and 220, but your plasmatic condition at the end will be applicable for both. It's just to start a system in the components which are ready in the market that you can use. With our work, we look at about 12 capacitors. It's very easy. You got to do what to see the power of your output. What you do when you go to your generator, rotating the speed of it, because you're reversing a motor into a generator, put a voltmeter and see what are the maximum voltage out of your system. Put a voltmeter with 1,000, 2,000 volts capability of measurement, and see how much what is and what peaks come in. How does it jump? Some systems go to 600 something. The small pumps, if you get the speed of rotation, the fish pumps in 110 can go up to about 600 to 1,000 volts with the current. You immediately go into what they call plus condition, 1+, or supplying more energy than you're actually producing, or you're using to produce the energy. This is very easy, you can check. But in that process, you can see the peaks, and the peaks allows you to go further and what you can do. What we think the ratio could be is one capacitor per half a kilowatt when it comes to the 100 and 220, and one capacitor about 0.75 to 1 kilowatt for 110. So if you get that in mind and understand the power of your peak of your generators, then you look around about 12 to 16 capacitors. And this is important to give you a guideline, and depends again how you make your capacitors, how you arrange your capacitors, and if your capacitors is in line with other things, with other facilities in your system. Try to only use nanomaterial coated all the way along. Don't mix wires and capacitor and nano coated wires. Make sure your loop from the point of interaction with your power supply to trigger the plasma, everything has to be in nanocoated condition, especially when you go into the solid state systems. We will show you the solid state system very shortly, and this pump situation goes out of it, but it's part of the process of the development, and it's there for you to see and to repeat.
Hello, Mr. Cash.
Who's speaking?
And Anzai. There is An.
We are still waiting for Paul to see his videos or his PowerPoint.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm working on it here. There's about 30 pictures or something. I have to download each one individually and set them up individually, and it's a lot of work here right now. But I'm trying. There is a video, PDF. I'm not sure if the pictures are in the PDF or if I'm supposed to download those separately. Maybe Paul, you can help me with that. Is that are the pictures in the PDF? Do I need to download all of the pictures and set them up, or are they already in the PDF?
Only, yeah, you have to download only the PDF.
Okay, well that's helpful. Then just give me a minute.
I have a question. 那个自在机，你可以过来帮我翻译一下吗 ？Hello.
I tell you something, Paul. You send me a PDF email with a lot of boards with the holes in it. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, but yesterday I sent the presentation. How the way that I have sent it, I have sent it yesterday.
No, I remember now. I saw an email from you with a board with a lot of holes in it. I was wondering, what are these holes for? What are you doing with these holes you made on this board? Are you listening to me, Paul?
I will need I will need the PDF to let you understand what I have done, because it is most so I have made settled it in a way that it is easy that you will understand, and with enlightened to. I can send you now again the file, and you can see.
I'm trying to get it downloaded properly from the cloud, and so I can open it in the right application. It'll just be a minute here.
Yes, let the other gentleman speak, Paul, till we are ready that we can share. Somebody was speaking. Can you tell us what you wanted to tell us or teach us, please?
Hello, Mr. Cash. This is Lucy. Just now, Anjai and his Chinese name is Yanan. He want to ask you a question. If he had designed a core system, and he want to ask you if his system can replace the compressor. So please let he speak, and I try to translate for him. Okay.
Rick, have we have access to this? Can we do this? Or you're too busy in the background with the other one?
I'm here, Mr. Keshan. Yes, she can translate in the meantime for Anzai.
Could you promote the person that we can see?
Yeah, they're both here.
Okay, because I have to stop sharing. I'm the cause of the problem. Okay. There we are. You can share.
We don't have any pictures yet. It's just a matter of a question being asked, and she can translate. Ruthie, can you do that, please?
Yes, I can try to speak Chinese to him, explain, ask him. 亚楠，你的屏幕可以分享吗？你可以分享你的图给大家吗？ 还是要我这边来做屏幕分享？
我已经可以了。
OK， 好，那我帮你翻译就可以了。OK, so he's ready.
Yeah, he's ready. Okay, tell us what we see. We see the two compressors. We see the stacker unit. We see the capacitors.
是这样的，那个我们从昨天晚上完成了这个装置，然后呢
Okay, wait.
请稍等。
Douglas, is Douglas or Wernie online?
I'm here, Mr. Cash.
Wernie, could you be kind enough to look at this and enlighten us, please?
Okay.
Okay, carry on, please.
请继续。
昨天晚上我们完成这个装置，然后呢，我们今天早上去测试，我们用的是汽车的电源加上逆变器，但是呢，我们那个逆变器可能有问题，没有达到效果。回家之后呢，我们用的是电机来启动，但是启动不起来。我希望开始先生，来，就是我询问一下，就是说用这个逆变器这一块是不是可以达到启动装置的一个效果？
你说的逆变器是什么？
就是12伏的直流的电源转变成220伏的交流电。
你用这个东西，这个不是开始的那个蓝图里面的，对吧？
对。
然后你的意思是说，你用这个逆变器不能做到什么？
可不可以启动这个装置？
那你用它来替代它蓝图里面的什么东西？
替代那个电机。
Okay. So the question from Yanan is, he tried to use a converter, which is.
He wants to use what?
Converter, which is a converter from a 12-volt DC to 220 AC, and he wants to use this to replace the motor in the blueprint design. He asked if this can work him, but
yes, why not? Try.
是的，开始先生说可以。那你的问题是什么？他说你可以试。
那这个这一块那我就知道了。然后我有一个就是说替换这个。
Let me explain something very interesting.
他会跟你解释。
You have to plug your pump, both compressors, into your load in reverse. I hope you understand, and I hope you do that.
Sorry, Mr. Cash, I can't understand.
You see, the two pumps are connected in the infinity loop, which means they are connected to each other. Yeah?
Okay, you mean the compressor?
Yeah, the two compressors, the two black units.
Okay, the two black device, okay.
Yeah, but these black devices need to be supplied with the power. So when you go, for example, to that yellow plug, Wernie, correct me if I'm wrong. When you connect, let's say, the pump with a silver or aluminum foil on top of it to the yellow distributor plug, if you put negative on one side and positive on the other, because still you work on the what do you call it? I have this. What I'm going to draw, I'll correct me if I'm wrong, Wernie. From this one here, you connect to the positive, and from here, for example, you connect to the negative. You're creating a loop, and from this one, I have to choose a color you don't have there. No, let me see. Let me go for a color you can see blue. For this one, if this is the positive here and negative here, and this is positive here and negative here, you connect the negative of this yeah, to the positive, and you connect the positive to the negative. Then your system automatically goes in an infinity loop. Not only it feeds itself to the plug, then it becomes the consumer of its own energy. That's how you create the loop. Am I correct, Bernie?
Yes, Mr. Cash. That's
This
the
is
simplest.
this is the trick to this system. And in normal condition, it doesn't work. In a matter state, it doesn't work. But because you're in a plasmatic state, it works. This is a trick which most of you have not even realized. You have no choice to connect the positive of this to here and the negative of this to the same side. You connect the negative of this to the positive and the positive of this to positive, while the system is feeding, generating electricity to go around the circle to come to itself. You put on your load the loads you need. This is the trick, this is the secret about this setting. You plug your capacitors, your, what do you call, the compressors to your own load, and at the same time as it's loading and they are working together, you are draining energy from it. You look at the polarity of the poles of your compressor when you connect. None of you have realized this. This is very important. You remember when
does that make that sort of an infinite, a feedback loop onto the infinity loop itself?
Yes, it's a maglev feedback. This is another way of the capacitors. If you remember when we made the capacitors, we had the gravitational system, and then we looped back one to itself, and one went as a capacitor battery. It's the same process. This was in a solid state. Here we're going more in a plasma state. This is, thank you very much for putting these pictures up. It's fantastic what you brought on, but we have to understand what we are doing here. If I clean this up, can you clean the board for me, please? And with the rest of it? Can you rub the rest of the picture?
If it doesn't work, then stop sharing. You can.
Oh, I'm cleaning it myself. I'm cleaning it myself. It's okay. Yeah, no problem. Let me just do my work here a little bit. I'm a messy worker. You see here, you have the positive. Here you have the negative. We are talking about this yellow box here. You have two positive and two negative. From the pump 1, here is your positive, this is your negative. You come from the positive into the positive. You come from the negative into the negative. Okay, we're gonna find a way to do it. Here with the pump 2, you have positive here, negative here, positive here. You take here the negative and you go over to the positive. And you take the positive and you go to negative. Your plug becomes your feeder and a generator. You loop feedback in. Vivek and John, who work in the back in the support, and Renan, you have to put this in a blueprint that people understand. If you remember when we made the maglev unit, We indicated the polarity, which way you have to connect it. And this point, these are not only the load, but the other producer, the generator too. Internally in the box, they are operating like this. You can't just plug it in. When you make your connection inside and you take your two wires out, you're taking the load out. But internally here, I'll try to now go to the next thing to clean that you can see. What you are doing, you are connecting the positive of this to the negative of this, and you are connecting, excuse me, you are connecting the positive of this to the negative of this. And here you're taking two lines out, which goes to your power. You can do this internally, or you connect it to the power supply where itself feeds and becomes the generator to itself. This is the trick in this game. You're taking from the same wire positive, negative, and you're taking from the other power line negative, because you're in the infinity loop. If it goes back to the understanding of the system, you remember magnetical becomes the gravitational, and the gravitational becomes magnetical. This is pump 1, pump 2. It's you who decide to take energy from here and from here. You are taking from the magnetical of the one or gravitational of the other one. And in fact, it looks very ridiculous how it does. Sorry, this is here, not here. In fact, it's the same thing. It's the same loop, but you take at the weakest point and the strongest point of the other, you create the rotation. If you look at it, is this way. If I can do this, then you can see it. Is you have the two loops, you have the two systems. Here it's at the strongest, here it's at this much more strongest, because here is the strongest in a weaker field. But here is the strongest in the strongest field, because in the interaction, all the top layers, it's like peeling a fruit which has many layers. The top layer is stronger in magnetical, but the inner layers are stronger in gravitational. And as the system goes, I taught this last week, you reduce the magnetical strength, but when you come here, you got more powerful systems, more powerful energy. And it's the same vice versa with this one here. You start with a strong magnetical. At the point of conversion, you become strong in gravitational. So what you're doing, you're in fact tapping into a very self-made potential difference. Because if you connect to here, you are dealing with the same source, highest to the lowest. Or you can connect to here. It's the same process. That's how the loop feedback comes in. It depends which one you connect to positive, and when you connect your system is, I have to find another color, is the potential difference has to be there, that trying to feed the strongest to the weakest, you connect energy and you tap into it. It's unlimited, megawatts, gigawatts. It all depends how much strength you can carry within the center and how much flow you can allow. If you look at this, in reality, you don't need any of this. This is a waste of time. But this is the way you understand. The coil is the controller of the fields, how much converting of the plasmatic matter to a plasma state. If you look at your circuit in a very simple way, here, this capacitor, this setup here is a converter. And these two are your balancers. If in your designs place this in the right position, you can dictate a lot of things. You choose things randomly, but if you look in your structures and understand the work of plasma, it's not wires anymore. You're looking for all these wires. Look at the interaction of the fields, because this is not creating DC or AC. These two, because of the condition of these, are creating plasma condition. So where you put your coil, how you position these to each other, from now on matters. It's not any more wires, it's the fields, and you have to go through this transition of understanding. That's why, for example, we created the stacker 3 on top of each other. If you look at the blueprint, how each one is nano-coated, GANS-coated, is to create a flow. The Innovation Center, people have a start understanding the use of these things, and you have to become alert to it too. You create a loop. This is your loop. Do you want to tap in the strongest and the weakest of one, or the weakest and the strongest of the other? And then you see your system performance changes. You use the same compressors, but you cannot do. I watched this yesterday with Douglas in presentation, but I thought he hasn't understood it. I cannot interfere. Because you see it working, but I don't understand why the system works. Sometimes it doesn't work some other time. Yes, because you haven't understood what you're dealing with. You're dealing with the flow of the fields. You call it a negative and a positive of the system. Negative, positive. Here, I want to give. My magnetical is more powerful. Here, I want to take. Here, I have to give more because I create the capacitance. I have a step down or a step up. That's why you have the capacitor in one of them, because they never match, and not matching, one tries to feed the other. So now that you make your connections, the important thing for you is, are you tapping into the positive of this one and the positive of this one, or are you tapping into the negative of this one and negative of this one? Are you tapping in the positive of this and negative of this? Because now you're dealing with the field flow, but because you have a pump in front of you, you think that's what the pump does. No, because now the pump itself, as you've seen, is part of the plasma circuit. Thank you very much for bringing this picture on, because it clarifies a lot of work.
Thank you, Mr. Cash. Yeah, and Yanan, he have his design to use the core, the balls, to replace the compressor pumps. Yeah.
This is very correct. You are very correct. This is part of what we are doing in the Innovation Center. It was shown last night by Vernie to the American audience. And yeah, you're very correct. You can do it. I would like to see his design, then we can comment on it, or Vernie can comment on it, please.
Yes, he wants to show it to you.
please.
OK，亚兰，请把你的那个图片调出来。
This is a liquid plasma containers. I have to clean up. This is a liquid plasma condition. Am I correct? He's using. I have to clean up the mess. Okay, carry on. Yes, I can see it. This was shown. This combination work was shown first time by Bernie and Renan in Dubai conference. A lot of people didn't understand it. Bernie, would you like to comment on this because you're expert in this?
Yes, what is not shown in this drawing are the coils in between the ganses, in between the bottles. So there are 3 MAGRAV coils. Can I annotate?
Yes, I think you're already doing.
Okay.
Let me clean up my print. Let me explain to you what Vernie is doing. We have already developed this in the Keshe Foundation. There is some pictures here on overlapping. We have already developed this in the Innovation Center in conjunction with the coils. We showed it last night. And this is a combination of the plasma GaNs and the nanomaterial coating. You can create such a thing. It's very easy, but what I explained to Vernie when he wanted to do this, when we make commercial units carrying liquids, this will be part of the problem. So we have gone a step down into the matter state to create such a thing in the coil structure. And what Vernie is going to explain to you is that the structure which I've designed, and when he has added the different connections at the same time to it, it works like a heartbeat. And it becomes self-sustaining system. Go ahead, please, Vernie.
Okay, this is correct. The interaction here is correct for, let's say, for this side. What I have shown yesterday, what you notice, we have this container and this container and this container and one in the middle.
Use a thicker color pen. It's very faint what you're doing, please.
Okay. I'll
use a thicker pen.
Wait, it's not working.
There's a lot of same color on the board.
I'll just remove my, no, I cannot remove, okay, I'm removing my previous.
I'm removing what I put in there that you can carry on showing your clean sheet now. Carry on.
Okay, I don't have the option here for a thicker, here it is.
It's a lines, drop down,
Okay.
it's on the screen, yeah. Okay.
So this part here, these are containers here, 3 and 1 in the middle. What I have are these are liquid plasma. Yes, they are arranged in a correct manner. What you did not notice are the MAGRAVs in between them. Here, here, and here, which have connection like this. The handshake with each other. MAGRAV in a way that you have magnetical and gravitational in the middle in each of the coils. And if you have this configuration.
Just wait 1 second. Can I add something, please?
Okay.
You got to understand here, we're going to the next step. What Vernie is explaining now is that where he put these blue circles, these are, you don't have, these are field interactions. You have to, from now on, to count on these. You can't just put the bottles and say, I connect the bottles. The bottles configuration creates a star formation, and each of these points